Adrian Ashford had built an empire with his bare hands. Construction, real estate, development projects that shaped skylines. From the outside, he was a man of 35 years old with salt and pepper hair, sharp features, and the kind of success that made people believe in the power of ambition and intelligence. He had offices in 3 countries. He had penthouses overlooking cities. He had everything a man could want. Everything except time. Because Adrian had all the time in the world. He had too much time. For 473 years, he had been alive. 473 years of watching people age, of watching them die, of watching civilizations rise and fall while he remained unchanged. The same face, the same body, the same curse. The curse had started in 1551. In a small village in what was now Portugal, there was a girl named Isabella. She had eyes like the ocean during a storm. She had a laugh that made him feel alive in ways he had never felt before. She was 17, he was 23, and he loved her with the kind of desperation that only young men can feel. But Isabella was promised to someone else. A nobleman, a man with power and land and everything a father wanted for his daughter. Adrian tried to convince her to run away with him, tried to convince her to leave everything behind, tried to convince her that love was more important than duty. She chose duty. She married the nobleman, and Adrian, in his rage and his heartbreak, said things he should never have said. He told her that she would regret it, that she would spend her life wondering what could have been, that she would die regretting her choice. And Isabella, heartbroken herself, whispered something in return. Something in a language that Adrian had never heard before. Something that felt like a curse falling upon him like rain. He didn't understand what she had said. Didn't understand until 2 months later when the nobleman died, suddenly, unexplainably. One day he was healthy. The next day he was hemorrhaging from places where blood should never come from. The doctors couldn't explain it. The priests called it divine judgment. Then Isabella's father died, then her sister, then everyone who had been at their wedding, then everyone who had ever been kind to Isabella. They all died. Slowly, painfully, in ways that medical science couldn't explain, and Adrian understood. The curse wasn't on him to make him suffer directly. The curse was on him to make him watch everyone he loved suffer, to make him responsible for their deaths simply by loving them. He tried to leave Isabella behind, tried to travel to another country, tried to forget her. But the curse followed him, because the curse wasn't tied to Isabella, it was tied to him, to his capacity to love, to his ability to feel. Over the centuries, Adrian learned the pattern. If he loved someone, they would die. It didn't matter if he left them. It didn't matter if he lied about his feelings. The moment the love took root in his heart, the moment he felt that connection, the curse activated, and the person he loved would begin to deteriorate. Some died quickly, some slowly. Some went mad before they died. Some seemed to simply fade away as if they were never meant to exist. But they all died. Every single one. By the 20th century, Adrian had learned to be alone. He had learned to keep people at arm's length. He had learned to recognize the signs of his own feelings and to suppress them before they could bloom into actual love. He had become a master of isolation, a master of emotional detachment. He had built his business empire because buildings don't love you back. Buildings don't die. Buildings are permanent, eternal, like him. But buildings were boring. Buildings were safe. And Adrian was tired of safety. Adrian was tired of being alone. He had told himself that he could manage, that he could have casual relationships, that he could sleep with women without loving them, that he could compartmentalize his emotions the way he compartmentalized his business ventures. He was wrong. On a Monday morning in September, Adrian was reviewing architectural plans for a new development when she walked into his office. His assistant had sent her up, an intern, fresh out of university, eager to prove herself. Her resume was impressive. Her credentials were solid. But Adrian didn't see any of that. Adrian saw Isabella, not literally. Her name was Sarah. She was younger. She had lighter hair. She had a different accent. She wore modern clothes and carried a tablet instead of a parasol. But her eyes were exactly the same. That ocean during a storm, that intensity, that intelligence mixed with a kind of reckless courage that had always attracted him. Adrian had stood up from his desk too quickly, had gripped the edge of his chair so hard that he almost cracked the wood. His assistant was talking, but he couldn't hear her words, could only see Sarah's face, could only see Isabella looking at him across the centuries. Mr. Ashford, Sarah was saying something, asking something about the internship position, something about her skills. Adrian had managed to say something that must have sounded professional enough because she had smiled and taken a seat across from him. That smile, that was Isabella's smile. That specific curve of her lips. That specific way her eyes crinkled at the corners. Adrian had spent the next 3 days trying to transfer her to another department, had called in favors, had tried to get her assigned anywhere but his office. His assistant had questioned why, had said that Sarah was one of the best interns they had ever hired, had said that it would be wasteful to move her. Adrian had caved, had told himself that he could manage, that he could keep things professional, that he could ignore the way his heart behaved when she walked into a room. He was wrong again. Sarah was brilliant. Sarah asked good questions about the architectural designs. Sarah had ideas about how to improve the flow of spaces. Sarah wasn't just beautiful in that impossible way that reminded him of Isabella. Sarah was also competent, thoughtful, passionate about her work. Adrian found himself giving her projects, important projects, projects that required them to work late into the night, projects that required them to be alone in his office while the rest of the city slept outside his windows. It took 3 weeks before Adrian realized that he was falling in love with her. It took another 2 weeks before he accepted it, and once he accepted it, Adrian knew what had to happen. He had to end it, had to push her away, had to do whatever it took to sever this connection before the curse activated. Before Sarah became another name on the list of people he had killed simply by loving them. He started to distance himself. Stopped asking her to work late. Stopped complimenting her ideas. Stopped looking at her when she spoke. Started treating her the way he treated every other employee, with professional distance, with emotional coldness. Sarah noticed, of course she noticed, and instead of accepting it and moving on the way most people would, she started to push back. She began staying late on purpose. She began asking him personal questions. She began finding reasons to be near him. She began acting like someone who couldn't accept being dismissed. One evening, about 6 weeks into Sarah's internship, Adrian was alone in his office when she knocked on his door. "We need to talk," she had said, and Adrian had felt his heart break in advance because he knew what was about to happen. "I don't think we do," he had responded, had kept his eyes on the papers in front of him, had refused to look at her. "You're avoiding me," Sarah had said, "and I want to know why." Adrian had finally looked at her, had made a mistake by looking at her, because when he looked at her, he saw Isabella's eyes watching him with that same intensity, that same need to understand, that same refusal to accept simple answers. "It's not personal," Adrian had lied. "You're a good intern, but I think it's better if you work with someone else on projects. For professional reasons." "That's bullshit and you know it," Sarah had said. She had closed the door behind her, had walked around his desk until she was standing in front of him. "Something changed 3 weeks ago. You changed, and I deserve to know what happened." Adrian had stood up, had put distance between them, had gone to the window and looked out at the city lights below. "There's nothing to explain," he had said. "Sometimes professional relationships need boundaries." "This isn't about boundaries," Sarah had responded. "This is about you running away from something. Running away from me." Adrian had closed his eyes, had felt the weight of 473 years pressing down on his shoulders. "You should transfer to another company," he had told her, "a better one. Somewhere your talents will actually be appreciated." "I don't want another company," Sarah had said. "I want to know what I did wrong." "You didn't do anything wrong," Adrian had said. And that was the truth. That's the problem. Sarah had been quiet for a long moment. Adrian could feel her staring at him, could feel the weight of her attention like a physical thing. "There's something you're not telling me," Sarah had said finally. "Something about you. Something about why you're pushing me away. And I've been thinking about it a lot, and I think I know what it is." Adrian's blood had gone cold. "I think you're afraid," Sarah had continued. "I think you're afraid of what happens when you let someone get close to you. I think something bad happened to you, to someone you loved. And now you're trying to make sure it doesn't happen again by pushing everyone away." Adrian had turned to face her. Sarah's eyes had been red, like she had been crying, like she understood something she shouldn't have understood. "You should leave," Adrian had said quietly. "You should go home, and tomorrow you should come in and ask for a transfer, and in a few months you should forget that you ever met me." "No," Sarah had said, and that single word had contained more determination than Adrian had heard in a human voice in decades. "No," Adrian had repeated. "No," Sarah had confirmed. "I'm not leaving, and I'm not forgetting you, and whatever it is that you're afraid of, whatever curse you think you're carrying, I don't care, I'm staying." Adrian had felt something break inside his chest, had felt the walls he had built over centuries beginning to crumble. "You don't understand what you're saying," Adrian had told her. "You don't know what it costs to be near me." "Then tell me," Sarah had said. "Tell me what it costs. Tell me what you're so afraid of." And Adrian had wanted to confess everything. Had wanted to tell her about Isabella and the centuries that followed. Had wanted to warn her about what loving him meant. But he hadn't. Because if he told her the truth, she would leave. And he couldn't bear the thought of her leaving. Instead, he had told her to go home, had told her that he couldn't give her what she deserved, had told her that she was making a mistake. And Sarah had smiled. That Isabella smile, that smile that had haunted him for 473 years. "Then I'll make the mistake," Sarah had said. "I'll make it willingly." The next morning, Sarah had come back to work, had sat at her desk outside his office, had acted like nothing had changed, had continued to push, had continued to fight, had continued to refuse to accept his rejection, and Adrian, tired of fighting, had finally surrendered. It happened on a Friday night. They were alone in the office. Everyone else had gone home. Adrian was pretending to work, but really he was just staring at his computer screen and thinking about how much longer he could resist before his heart broke completely. Sarah had come in, had stood in front of his desk, had not said anything, had just waited. Adrian had stood up, had walked around his desk, had looked at her for the first time in weeks, really looked at her without trying to hide his feelings. But if you stay, Adrian had said slowly, people around you will start to die. People you care about. People will suffer. You will suffer. And there's nothing I can do to stop it. That's what I'm afraid of. That's what I'm trying to protect you from. Sarah had been quiet, had processed what he had said, and instead of running, instead of thinking he was insane, she had stepped closer. I don't care, Sarah had said. Whatever happens, I don't care. I'm not afraid. You should be, Adrian had told her. I'm not, Sarah had repeated, and then she had kissed him. But it was a gentle kiss, a soft kiss, a kiss that contained more meaning than any words could possibly contain, a kiss that felt like a choice, like acceptance, like surrender. And as their lips touched, Adrian felt something change, felt something shift in the fabric of reality itself, felt the curse recognizing a new target. When they pulled apart, Sarah had a mark on her collarbone, a mark that hadn't been there before. A mark that looked like a burn, a mark that looked like a brand. It was the mark of the curse. Adrian looked at it and felt his heart stop. What is that? Sarah asked, touching the mark with her fingers. Her voice is confused. She can't see it, can only feel it. Adrian doesn't answer because he knows exactly what it is. Knows that the curse has recognized her. Knows that Sarah is no longer just a bystander. Knows that she is now marked for the same fate as everyone else he has ever loved. But there is something different about this time. Something that Adrian can't quite understand, because the mark isn't a curse mark. It's not black or red or filled with malice. The mark is silver. Like moonlight, like something beautiful captured in her skin. And Adrian realizes with horror that this might be something he has never seen before. This might not be a curse activating on a new victim. This might be something else entirely.